Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
It's funny. I haven't seen that before.
And it feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
And to think about a part of yourself that you would like to get to know better or change your relationship with. Does anything come to mind?
The way that I myself. I think I.
Sorry, you got cut off. The way that you what?
The way that I view myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a poor self-image. I don't think I really like myself.
Okay.
How I look.
Okay. So kind of a critical or judgmental or dislike of your looks.
Yeah, I would say more critical because I would say that I do think I'm pretty, but I wish I was prettier. I don't feel I feel like there's a lack.
Okay. So we'll make that the part that we want to get to know today.
Okay.
If that's all right with you.
Perfectly.
Sure. So when you're experiencing that feeling, see if you can notice where it is located in or around your body.
I want to say kind of my chest area, so I would say my heart.
Uh-huh. And
yeah, for sure.
Okay. And just see if you can see yourself kind of turning towards that part. That right now is just that sensation. And how else are you aware of it? You've located it. What else can you say about it? The sensation.
With the sensation, it feels kind of sad. It's kind of a burden. It feels a little bit heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I could immediately locate it. It feels like it's associated with feelings of sadness. And it feels heavy.
Okay.
Like someone sitting on my chest, probably. I would probably say it feels like that.
Okay. And how do you feel towards this critical part?
It's a little uncomfortable, I will say. It's not something that I'm used to, and I've never thought of something that I've wanted to really work on.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even that. It's I've always wanted to work on things, but I feel like there's some things that I refuse to even acknowledge that I have problems with. And definitely how I view myself is one of those things that I feel like I've never wanted to go into it.
Yeah. So some resistance to acknowledging it.
Yeah, I would say that. That's definitely the feeling. It's something that I would just rather not go into.
Okay.
You know what? It feels like it's too much. Like there's too much of it to really do, and it feels like it's too deep. And I've thought about myself like this way for 20 years. Well, let's say like 16 years or something. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been like, I could look better. I could be skinnier. I could be. Or sometimes I'm like, no, I can be bigger. You know, it's like I'll never be happy.
Okay. And of course, if this at any point you're in this conversation with me now, and you're saying, "No, really, I don't want to go into this," then please.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's good we do this because I won't do it on my own.
Yeah. And my goal is, just for us to be able to outline this part, to make some contact with it, and that might be it. If that's all we do today, and in 20 minutes, then for me that's a success, and that's something that you can decide to go forward with later. But this is kind of the first part, is just outlining it, fleshing it out, and just kind of getting its contact info in your Rolodex there, your phone book. So you talked about your feelings of discomfort, your feelings of not wanting to work on that specific thing.
Yeah. I would say it feels like there's just so much to unpack that feels useless to even attack. But see, those are just feelings.
Yeah, well, we're going to call them parts. So those feelings of, this is hopeless, this is useless to do. Let's think of that as another part, and see if you can just direct kind of in your mind. See if you can kind of ask that part that feels like this is hopeless to give you some space, just so you can spend the next few minutes getting to know this critical part. And see if you're able to do that, and just see how it reacts.
Okay, so you want me to separate myself from it for a second?
The part that thinks that this is futile. Yeah, see if you can just ask it for some space. And you might imagine it's in the room and you're asking it for physical space. It doesn't have to show up that way. But just see if you can direct your a message towards it in that way, and see how it reacts.
Okay. It feels a little difficult only because it feels like it's the whole me. The whole part is. So I feel like I'm removing myself from this conversation.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But it feels like it's I'm the issue. I'm the one who's telling myself this. So okay, I have to step out of that headspace. So let me. Okay. All right. I will say that was a little bit harder.
That was a little harder, yeah. Yeah. Okay. And how did it react in the end? Were you able to get space from the part judging?
For a second.
Yeah.
But, hey, that's me. So kind of difficult. It's a huge part. I would say it's a. Yeah, it's like a Yeah, that's
sometimes you're feeling like something's useless, and other times you're feeling like something's really meaningful and really gonna work. So, you're capable of having both of those parts in control or dominating your experience.
Yeah.
So now when you think back about that critical part, we're going to try to reorient to that. How do you feel towards it now that you've got a little space from the part that's judging this as possibly useless?
It feels, well, I don't want to say it feels, it's more a question of like, so why do you actually feel this way about yourself? Like, it's because it doesn't feel like it's more sad anymore. It feels more like, why is it taking this long to acknowledge this certain aspect?
Okay. So would you? Yeah, that's great. You're doing fine. So is the part giving you that message? Is the critical part saying to you, why has it taken you so long?
No. I feel like this is not that. No, I've silenced that voice.
Yes.
But for the feeling of where it's located, the part in my heart.
Yes.
From perspective, it's more so like, why is this relevant? Like, why taking such a huge chunk of you? Because it seems like this might be the root to majority of your problems. Yeah.
Okay. So let me so you have a couple things that I'm hearing you say. One is that, this kind of feeling of why is this taking so long, which at first sounded kind of judgmental or frustrated. But then I also heard some real curiosity of really, why is this so big for me?
Yeah.
And so again, let's consider the judgment frustrated part as a part. Let's ask that for space. See if you can do that. And we want to just get to that curious place where you really want to get to know this critical part. So see if you can ask for a little space from the frustrated or hurried part, or the part that thinks you've taken too long.
I have to say, this is very cool. I've never done this before. I really like
I think so too.
Yeah, let me separate from that.
And when you're doing that, you can address them directly in your mind. So when you're asking the judgmental part to step back, just really see yourself making that request directly to it, like it's a person in the room with you.
Okay. All right. I've separated it. But now the feeling of like the heart parts was kind of, now it's back to feeling sad.
Okay. And how do you feel towards it, feeling sad?
Wow. I would say just it feels this. I think it's more of. I would say because it's not like I'm kind of questioning, sort of. It's more of like, this can be changed a little if I just decided to look at myself differently. It wouldn't be it wouldn't make me so sad. It wouldn't have this feeling associated with it. It was just, if I could just look at myself a little bit more differently. Like, I guess separating from frustration is more like, sorry, just someone spam called. So
now
let me get back into the headspace. Yeah, without the frustration part of it, it feels like the only part now that I'm focusing on is more so of there's an easy solution to this.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you're having some hopefulness and some curiosity. It sounds like the space, and correct me if I don't want to put words in your mouth or your experience, but it sounds like the space has gotten a little easier for you to connect with this one part.
No, it definitely has, and I always go back to let me analyze this too. But I feel like now there's all these sort of layers, but it took kind of a while to get to this one, and it feels like the answer has always kind of been there. I've just chosen myself to not even want to try it.
Yeah, well, we're going to try now. So if you can, just directly ask this part. Ask it, in your mind, what does it want you to know?
You're telling me to ask the frustrated part or the heart part?
The heart part, the part that's critical of your looks. Ask it what it wants you to know or what it wants you to know about it, and just wait for the answer.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I want to say, it feels like it's saying sort of no matter how hard you try, you're still not going to look good enough. Even if doesn't matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, all right. And how does that resonate with you? I mean, do you get that?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, directing your mental energy, your message to the part, let it know that you get that.
Yeah, and it feels like, so why are we doing why are you here then?
Yeah, let it know you just want to understand its role, and you want to learn more about it. And you're not trying to push it around or change anything. You just want to know more about it, and that you totally get that no matter how hard you try, you're not going to look good enough. That that resonates with you. Just see how it reacts.
It feels like it's pretty stubborn. Like it's like, okay, so I'm going to leave. Don't think about if it bothers you so much, but this is it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay. So, and that's fine. And we can respect its pace. If it doesn't want to be known, or if it thinks, or if that part that says this is hopeless or useless is coming back in, maybe you could ask that for space again.
Yeah, maybe that might be.
Mm-hmm.
That might be. Yeah, I'm going to ask some space from that part.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, that part is really the hardest part to separate from, because I think it's coming back in. And it's like slipping in, but the hard part still feels like let's not unpack this. Let's just keep this under because of the frustration part. I guess that part always will override, because I just think so much about how I look, and more so about why it's not enough, rather than it is enough.
And you can let all the parts know that we're not going to go to the depths here. So we're actually not going to do a lot of unpacking, and you can let them all know that you're in control of this call, and that you can, and that even if I wanted to go there, that you could stop that. So let them know from me and from you that we're not going to go into deep unpacking of that pain in this call.
Okay.
We just want to get to know the critical part, because it does weigh on you, and it does give you that feeling in your chest and your heart. It's giving you this message that you've kind of heard enough, and so you're just trying to understand it better.
Yeah.
So the next question, if you have got space from these other parts, the judging parts and the thinking this might be useless parts, the next question is for the critical part again. What is it afraid will happen if it doesn't get your attention this way? If it doesn't work so hard, if it doesn't cause this pain in your chest, or tell you that, you'll never look good enough. What's it afraid will happen?
Other people will think that I'm ugly.
Okay.
That such an automatic, like as soon as you asked it, it's like automatically, and I've never even noticed it, but it's like other people will think that I don't look good enough, and I don't. Why that's so important to me?
Yeah. So let's just sit with that for a moment. That is something that, does that resonate with you? Can you kind of feel that, that pain of other people thinking you're ugly, that's a real pain.
Yeah.
And that is hurtful or humiliating or
yeah, I want to say it's more of like humiliating, and I feel like maybe I have expectations from society to look and act a certain way.
Yeah. So again, turning back to this critical part, let it know that you feel that you see that it is protecting you from humiliation, and that's an important role that it has. And just see if you can show it some compassion and show it some sympathy for having that job, and maybe show it some appreciation for its intention to protect you from that humiliation. Just see how it reacts.
It's like it kind of lightens the burden a little bit, and it also feels like, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, we know that's exactly why we're doing it. Yeah. So, but it feels like it's a little bit of a lighter load.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. So just see if you can just stay in that space where you're showing it some appreciation for its intention to protect you from that. And then finally, ask it if you could heal or change what it's protecting. So it's protecting you from this humiliation. If you could heal or change that so it wouldn't have to do that job anymore, what else would it like to do inside of you?
The critical frustration part, the judges come back in. They're saying you could put this to your work. Maybe you should feel more. This is gonna sound good, but maybe you should feel more ashamed about the work that you put out rather than like how you look. So I feel like it's going to be replaced with an even
Okay. Well, so it's okay. So you're gonna ask that judging frustration part. Tell that judging frustration part that you just need about 4 more minutes would be awesome for you to continue with this critical part. And sometime when you're able to meet it and hear all about its story, you'll do that.
It feels like I could focus on putting that love to myself. Like that would be the nicest thing to do, because I feel like the critical part just wants to do what's best for me. Like at the end of the day, it's here for me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if it knows it's not serving its purpose where it is now, then it would be the best thing to do would to be put that towards myself, like self-love, which is the opposite.
And you know, I hear you saying that, and I want to know that I want to know what it's saying, and if it's feeling that way, and if it has any, specifics, or there's specific roles it would like to take up, or
complimenting myself instead of like the first thing that I do whenever I put new clothes on, or if I put on if I do my makeup, it's always this or there's that. Like it's the automatic thing. It's never, I think I look good, or
interesting.
It's never been that way. It's always been, okay, well, there's like 10 things I could fix about this.
Yeah.
And I think the most triggering part of it all is like when someone takes a picture of me and I look at the picture, I'm like so disgusted. And the thing is that the people around me do not understand where it's coming from. Like everyone around me has always complimented me. I've never been called like ugly, which I feel like that's a shallow thing to say. I've never been called to my face. No, I've never been called ugly. I am the only one who says it. I say it more to myself than literally anyone else has.
So maybe this part of you has done a really good job at making sure that you are not called that out in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Hard to the point where it's like, in pictures can just trigger it, and I'm like, I don't want to see it. Or because for me, like on social media and stuff, I'm pretty much a ghost. Like I don't post anything. I rarely post a selfie. I do not post anything on social media, but my friends post me, and I always remove myself from that situation.
Okay. All right. Well, so did you get any other insight directly from this part about if you could change that so that you took on the role of protecting, or you healed that, part that gets humiliated? Is there any other way that it would like to use its energy inside of you? And if it doesn't have any other answers, that's fine.
No, it doesn't. It feels like that's its sole purpose, really. Like there's no.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you talked about it, giving you compliments. And so in a way it's continuing to do its job, which is judging looks. But it's doing it in a way that it promotes your well-being rather than holds you back and burdens you with the weight.
Yeah.
A couple more questions for this part while we have its attention. Ask it, how old does it think that you are? And just wait for an answer.
This is crazy because a number came to head, but should I just say it?
Yeah, go for it.
It's 17.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like it automatically just came to me.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and let it know that you're no longer 17, that you have some more tools in your tool belt, and just update it.
Okay.
And then ask it, what does it need from you in the future?
you asking in regards to like what could help heal this, like little bit?
Just now that it sees that you have a little more power than it might have thought. You have the power to get to know it. You have the power to control this conversation. You have the power of someone who's older than 17. Just ask what you can do for this part that's critical to help put it at ease in the future.
Yeah, nothing is coming to mind besides the fact that we need to keep up what we're doing. It's still reverting back to, it's really difficult. I want to say something like, it is very difficult to separate that frustration part from this situation. I keep doing it.
It's all right.
It's way back into the conversation. And it's like, well, the only advice that you should be giving us is that it's going to be the only thing that works is to just keep on judging. And so I would say that it's really stubborn. All the parts are really stubborn. Even the part that wants to like fix all of this is also pretty stubborn.
Okay.
So, which I've never noticed about myself, being so hard-headed until now.
Well, it's okay that the part didn't give you a clear answer. And you can, again, going back to that place where you were appreciative of the role that it did. We're gonna conclude. We're going to thank that part for showing up, for letting you get to know it. We're going to remind it and show it that you're appreciative of its intention, even if it doesn't feel great and you want to change it. You don't want to feel that way so much anymore. Let it know that you're appreciative of its intention, that you recognize its role of keeping you from being humiliated and keeping you from that pain is valuable. And let it know that, this won't be the last time that you check in with it. I mean, if you can say that now that you've kind of met it, you can check in with it later in the future. You can ask it in the future what else you can do and get better direction from it. And thank all the parts that gave us space, gave us even more than the 4 minutes I asked for. Just thank them all for playing and for being respectful when you ask them to for that space.
Okay. It feels a lot better. It also feels a lot better that I'm stepping out of the space too. Like when we were looking at our demons for a second.
Yeah.
Our inner demons. And
now you're out of it. You're taking your deep breaths or not if you don't want to. And I'd like to hear how it was for you, but also just I want to kind of honor and celebrate that, to see you to be able to go in there and to look at the demons and to come back out. It's, that's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I want to say that was really, really, really cool. I mean, I've never done this before. Separating things, it's kind of like a puzzle.
Uh-huh.
So I say that I like it, but I do want to say that I realized that I'm very stubborn. So I also didn't really know that about myself. I feel like now I kind of understand a little bit better. I understand myself a little bit better.
Yeah.
Now I think I could try. I could try to actually bring this into meditation too. And if I can resolve this with like just breathing and just focusing on, maybe I should listen to like affirmations for myself, things like that I could kind of switch gears on the critical part.
Yeah. Can I tell you what the IFS approach would be for next steps?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things. So one would be now that you've met a part, let's say, and you met some others, but you would kind of you would check in with that part maybe during your meditation every day for the next couple of weeks, and that check-in could be a minute long. It's just, hey, how you doing? I'm still here. I still care. I still agree with you about that. Anything I can do for you today? That kind of just check in. And the other course of action would be to go through this same process with every other one of those protective parts, every one of those emotions that is coming up and is, pushing into the room. I'm imagining people kind of shouldering their way into a crowded room, and they're saying, "Hold on, I'm next. We need to hear what I have to say." And yes, that would be the process, is kind of doing this with each of those parts, understanding their position, finding some sympathy and some appreciation for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I actually like it a lot better than the other one, because the other one would have been too much for me.
Yeah, and then and that's kind of the surface of that's the protector parts, and really what they are protecting a humiliated part, and eventually you get to that part, and that's usually called the exile, and that work is it's similar, but you got to meet the protectors first.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I do like that a little bit better, because I feel like I would have given up.
Yeah.
Well, with doing kind of sort of anything else, I would have just been like, I'm way too stubborn to fix this, and we don't have to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I would also kind of just bookmark those things. So when I hear you say, I'm stubborn, well, I'm taking a note and I'm saying, okay, stubborn part. When I hear you say, this is useless, I take a note and I say, okay, useless part. And so if we were to talk again, I would say, okay, well, do you have anything new, or should we talk to the stubborn part, or should we talk to the part saying you're useless? And, they're all welcome. They all deserve their time in the light, to be heard. And that's kind of the process.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say? Any thoughts about how it went, or anything at all?
I have to say that it's just really cool, and also sort of, it's like one of those things where it's like, it's a simple process, but your people are so into their own minds that they can't even recognize the issues. I want to say that it didn't feel like it triggered anything sort of bad. It was really easy, because I've done other forms of therapy, like what is it called? I don't know if you know the name of it, but when they put their finger in front of you and they move it back and forth. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
It's an EMDR or something, eye movement thing.
Yeah, something like that. I used to do that for just some PTSD that I have from high school, from some stuff that's happened. But whenever they've tried to do that, it's way too much. It's too much of a stimulation kind of overload. And I totally just clock out of that one. So I'm sort of happy that it didn't trigger anything, too deep. It was very simple. So I'm really happy about that, because I can get easily triggered by things. And especially that form of therapy was just not good for me at all.
Yeah, and a lot of other talk therapies, there's just a lot of it's kind of advice giving. It's kind of do this and then do that. Whereas this is we're asking questions, and they're all going through you. You're in control. That self part, which isn't a part at all. That actual you gets to control the dialogue that you're having with the parts. And so from that place, you have the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciated this.
Sure.
It was awesome. I really, really liked it. And I would love to do it again with you if you'd be willing to.
Cool, yeah.
They liked it.
All right. Well, thank you. And yeah, I'll go ahead and get off the call and be in touch. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Zikri, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.